Okay, great. My group was Native Navigator. It interprets road signs for people not from North America, and translates them into your native language and reads it aloud to you for safer traveling. My students were Antonio Capdevielle, Justin Dahl, myself, Luke Nee, Druthi Palle, Hana Smahi, and Justin Wang.
Sometimes traveling in new places can be difficult. Native Navigator, explore with confidence.
Did you know that 3/4 of all US drivers are unable to identify the signs featured in the highway code? With this being said, imagine the difficulty experienced by foreign drivers when attempting to navigate American roadways. For this reason, we created Native Navigator, an AI-powered tool that reads and translates street signs into 9 of the most common languages.
So our process for making our idea come to like reality was first collecting our data. So we use Labelbox, which allows you to categorize the different signs or images that you have. For example, stop signs or yield signs, just as kind of like a perspective. For every 3 images that we found from online searches, we could only use one of them. We ended up with about 1,600 images to use, but that still wasn't enough. So then we did something called augmenting our data, which you change the different perspectives or lighting to kind of help the computer train and like recognize a pattern better. Then we trained our image with an AI library called YOLO. This took us about 2 days of just allowing the computer to recognize a pattern on its own. We then created a confusion matrix, which is pretty much a box that tells you the accuracy rates and if it's not accurate, where it's missing up or messing up on. Then we added Google's translation and speech APIs, which we found online. And those help us translate the English signs into whatever language the user picks, such as Spanish or French. Then we created our webpage, which is how we deployed our project.
In order to fully train our data, we needed to have at least 100 pictures for each sign to make our artificial intelligence efficient. And to obtain these images, we got various pictures from the web and downloaded all of them into our own computers, where we would put them into different categories in Labelbox. And this was done to sort out the data to train the artificial intelligence. So if we had a picture like of a stop sign, for example, we would get a bunch of them and put them into Labelbox and in its own category to train later. And then since we did not have enough pictures to have an accurate product, we had to increase the variety and quantity of labeled images. So we had to do something called augmenting the data, which we would change the brightness, the rotation, and the distortion of the pictures to create more of them from the ones we already had. And one example would be like if we had a stop sign, we would like make it darker or change it. And this would also train it for like, for example, driving at night, or maybe if something was covering the stop sign, it would still be able to recognize it.
So this is basically how we trained our data. We started off by initializing random weights in our neural network, and we made a forward pass through the network with our training data to calculate the loss. And we did this by using gradient descent to see which weights needed to change and by how much. We distributed the weight changes through backpropagation and repeated this training process until we were satisfied with the loss.
So here's our confusion matrix displayed below, with the true label on the y-axis and the predicted label on the x-axis. As you can see, we have high precision and accuracy, with all the signs having 100% accuracy, except for stop sign, yield sign, and school zone sign, with 96, 97, and 95% accuracy respectively. But these values are skewed high because our augmented data all look pretty similar. So our AI was able to recognize those augmented images really easily. So keep it with a grain of salt, but we still have high accuracy.
So this is a little bit about how we use the Google Speech and Translation APIs in our project. We took the prediction that was in English and translated it to the user's chosen language using the Google Translation API. We then took the translated word and used the Google Speech API to create an MP3 file of a human-like voice speaking the prediction in the user's chosen language, which is added onto the website.
In order to create our website, we use nice pages to position text, images, and buttons. We also use Flask to run the website, and we used HTML, JavaScript, and CSS to fill in the code which made the website and buttons function properly.
Okay, so before we get to our favorite moments, we're going to demonstrate how our website actually works. So as you can see, we open up to our homepage and you can select the language. Is there anyone from the audience that recognizes one of these and wants to pick to see if it actually works?
Any foreign speakers?
Yes.
I would love to hear some French if no one else is going to ask. Espanol is also in the chat.
Okay, Espanol. So Spanish. Then it takes you to your file explorer. So I'm going to pick stop sign as the one I'm curious about. Then we go to our results page. We first display it in audio if you want to hear it out loud.
Señal de stop.
And then we also printed out text. Then this is our predicted image. As you can see, it recognizes that it's a stop sign with 100% confidence, which we also display. And we're really passionate about this, hence the button. And if you click that, it takes you back to our homepage. My favorite moment was playing Gartic Phone on Fridays, and then also just seeing whatever we attempt at come to life, such as the Google APIs and our matrix was really important for me.
My favorite moment was seeing our AI work with speech and text APIs.
I really enjoyed learning about neural networks and was fascinated by the math and how the weights adjust.
My favorite part was training our neural network using thousands of pictures from the internet.
My favorite moment was getting to talk to the students about careers and getting to answer lots of questions about their dream jobs.
My favorite moment of camp was seeing our webpage work successfully with all the components of our project.
My favorite moment of camp was brainstorming project ideas and making the promo video.
That's the end of our presentation. Thank you for listening. If you have any questions, feel free to send them in the chat and we'll try our best to answer.